Hey guys, so we are getting Ultra Super Vegito's Platinum equipment released tomorrow. We don't yet know exactly what it's going to be doing. It's possible that when we see the details of the equipment, it could give us a bit of insight into like how they want us to use the character. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be spending a little bit of time in the beginning talking about Vegito himself, and then the second part is going to be me talking about who I think the next release is going to be. But in terms of them picking Ultra Super Vegito here, first of all, I do think this was a pretty expected outcome. They did the Ultra Super Gogeta equipment during Legends Fest. Now they're doing the Ultra Super Vegito equipment during the, well, it's not, technically this is not even during the anniversary, it's during the after party, so it's a little later than I thought it was going to be, but it's pretty much when I thought it was going to drop. So it's not really an unexpected time for this to drop, but it is a little bit tough, I think, to get this guy where he needs to be in terms of teams. Let me actually pull up Super Vegito here. So Ultra Super Vegito has really one main team in terms of his tag, and that is Fusion Warrior. The other team that he has available is BUUHAN Saga, which actually, you know, was a team for a long time. It was basically a team all the way from the 6th anniversary pretty much through, I would say, like March or April of this year. So it lasted almost a full year. They did an awful lot for the BUUHAN Saga team, right? 6th anniversary dropped. We got Fusing Super Vegito. We got Red Supreme Kai. We got Purple Ultimate Gohan. We got the Green Evil Buu. Then in October, we ended up getting Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and we got Majin Vegeta. Then Legends Fest dropped. We got Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They just could not stop. It could not stop giving us BUUHAN Saga characters, not to mention the Zenkai for the Blue LF Kid Buu, who was actually really, really good. So they dropped a lot of BUUHAN Saga stuff last year all the way through the end of the year. So BUUHAN Saga really hasn't gotten anything at all this year, right? Because we could even take a look. This is pretty much in chronological order. This Goku was the last major BUUHAN Saga release. So BUUHAN Saga is going to struggle for sure. Majin Vegeta, I think, is still competent. He's definitely not anywhere close to what he was before or even during part 1 of the anniversary. Super Saiyan 3 Goku can be okay, but they really, really hurt this guy a lot with the changes that they made to the battle system in terms of punishing long combos. So does Super Vegito dropping here just automatically out of nowhere revitalize the BUUHAN Saga team? No, it doesn't. His other team is Fusion Warriors. So let's take a look at Fusion Warrior. So in terms of the Fusion Warrior help that we got during 2024, it was quite a lot. Okay, we got Fusing Blue Gogeta, Fusing Super Vegito during the 6th anniversary. Then we got Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Then we got LF Omega. Then during October, we got Gotenks. Then Legends Fest Part 1, we got Transforming Vegito Blue. Then at the end of January, we got Fusion Zamasu. And then don't forget that during Legends Fest, we also got the Platinum equipment for Ultra Super Gogeta. So we did end up getting, I don't know, like almost every single major fusion in the span of like 8 months or something. It was insane what they did with Fusion Warriors last year. However, if we take a look at the roster here and when we consider 7th anniversary power creep, how good is the Fusion Warrior team right now? Not too good. Okay, the answer is not too good. So does Super Vegito getting his Platinum equipment all of a sudden revitalize the Fusion Warrior team? No, certainly not. So I am looking at Super Vegito. Again, I'm glad that they picked this character because I feel like he's deserving of a Platinum equipment now. It's a pretty exciting release. One of the most hyped characters in all of Dragon Ball for sure, Super Vegito. I actually would say I think the 2 most hyped characters just in Dragon Ball in general when it comes to these games is Super Vegito and not just Ultra, but Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Super Vegito, I think for me are probably tied for the most hype. And then very, very closely followed by Blue Gogeta, Blue Vegito, and like UI Goku. And then I think Beast Gohan probably falls in there too. And then actually I would probably maybe at this point still have like Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku close just because he's really, really new. But that's really like the hierarchy that I see of hype in this game. Super Gogeta I probably would have a little bit below the blues here. But really, it is Super Vegito and like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta tied for that top spot. So this guy is an extremely hype pick. My only concern is where exactly do they want us to use this character? He's almost undoubtedly going to be a leader slot I don't want to call him a leader slot slave, because that's honestly what you could say for most Ultra characters. This guy does have the Fusion Warrior Ultra ability, right? I think, yeah, Fusion Warrior. Resonance of Force, every single one is called this. Fusion Warrior Ultra ability. But the question is, like, do you really want to use this guy over something like Namek Goku? Probably not. I would highly doubt that they're going to drop this guy's Platinum equipment and he's going to be better than Namek Goku. That would be kind of silly. But I'm really hoping he at least is comparable to like Kaioken Goku or the Green Saiyan Saga Vegeta, UI Goku, somewhere in there. If they made him pretty much like, you know, competitive with those characters, I would be more than happy with that. It's just in terms of his teams, I'm not really sure where he stands. So for me, it's probably going to be a thing where like you throw this guy on lead and then you run like Namek Goku and Kaioken Goku or something, and you make like a Goku / Saiyan team out of that. That's probably what I'm thinking, but we'll see what they end up going with the Platinum equipment. Again, tomorrow during the data download, we will see the full details for this. Okay, so let's talk about what I think could be the follow-up character here. So I did mention this a few times in the past few videos that I've released, but the fact that they are not dropping a new character this week is definitely a little bit surprising, but all I think this means is I think they're just moving the character from this week to next week. So instead of this After Party LF dropping on the 23rd, I think that they'll simply just drop on the 30th. So it'll be a week from now, or it possibly also could be the 31st, because sometimes when it comes to end of month releases, they do intentionally delay the character until the last day of the month. That's just something they sometimes do. So the character, I think, is either going to be coming out on the 30th or the 31st. So we just talked about the teams for this character, and there's a reason why I did talk about that, because I think whatever character we're going to be getting next week to end the After Party before we transition into whatever the next campaign is going to be, probably will be tied to Super Vegito in some way, right? So if you remember back to, I think it was 2 years ago, the After Party, well, it wasn't really even called an After Party 2 years ago, because all they did was they just dropped, so it was like Ultra Vegito Blue, and then I guess you can kind of loosely tie it. It was the Purple Perfect Form Cell legendary finish character, Legends Limited character. It was that Cell that dropped as like sort of like the one-off LF character. And then last year we had the Omega Shenron. That was the one-off LF character that dropped after Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but clearly there's a huge connection between Omega and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So I'm thinking what we could see here is a character that does tie into Super Vegito. So there are a few options here. Now looking at the Buu Saga team here, there is, again, we got a lot of Buu Saga representation last year. We have Fusing Super Vegito, we have Ultimate Gohan, we have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, Majin Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So really, I would say we have most of the Buu Saga represented, at least most of the big moments of the Buu Saga represented just in this like 6-month span of Anniversary through Legends Fest. There's one thing that's pretty much missing from this, and it's Buu himself. Buu himself was not really represented too well last year. We did get the first ever Sparking Evil Buu, which this guy was a menace when he dropped. We did get the Zenkai for Kid Buu, which was cool. I mean, I thought that they did a really good job with the Zenkai for this character. This guy was done justice for sure. So they got some representation in here for Buu, but we did not get any kind of premium Buu release last year in terms of an LF or an Ultra character. So I think we could see 2 different kinds of Buus here drop at the end of the month. In fact, I think we could probably even say 3. The first one, which I think is probably the least likely version, is just a Fat Buu, the same Fat Buu that fought Majin Vegeta, and he would be a reviving Buu. It would be a Fat Buu who revives into Fat Buu. Right? It would kind of remind me actually a little bit. Let me actually go back to the main character list here. That would remind me of this Green Saiyan Saga Vegeta, because technically, if you're a reviving character, you are a transforming character. So it would kind of be a similar thing to this Vegeta, where he's just Vegeta and he revives into Vegeta. He doesn't actually transform, but technically the game treats this as a transformation. It's Vegeta who revives into battle damaged Vegeta, or just like he's pissed off Vegeta is basically what he revives into. You know, he has higher stats, he gets better moves or better mechanics. That's really what they consider a transformation in this game. So I could see them giving us a Fat Buu that revives into himself, but he's just like a better powered up, you know, quote unquote transform version of Fat Buu. That's the first one, but I probably think it's the least likely. Kind of insane to me at this point that we don't have a reviving Buu of any sort. The second one, which is I think the most likely outcome, is just some version of LF BUUHAN. BUUHAN in this game is one of the most criminally underrepresented characters, one of the most disrespected characters in the game for sure. Actually, I'd have to do, it would be like Ultimate Gohan Absorbed. These are the BUUHANs that exist in the game. This guy's free to play. Who cares? He's just a copy and paste of the green BUUHAN, but this green BUUHAN is the first ever BUUHAN. He was the first anniversary character. And then the only other summonable version of BUUHAN is this post 4th anniversary Legends All-Star Banner red BUUHAN. So no LF BUUHAN, no Ultra BUUHAN, no transforming BUUHAN. I mean, this guy was good. This green BUUHAN, this guy was like a very, very strong character. This red BUUHAN, I would say he was solid. He wasn't great, he wasn't bad, he was just solid. And that's it. 7 years into the game, that's all we have for BUUHAN. So it's about time that we get BUUHAN more representation into the game. If they're gonna do just like a standalone BUUHAN character, there's like, how many hours of footage of BUUHAN doing just a million different moves? There's so much they could pull from for BUUHAN. So there's a lot they could pick for. Another character, so that's the second version of Buu that I think we could get. A third version of Buu that we could get is actually if the character starts out as BUUHAN and then revives into Kid Buu. That is something I could also see. I don't think there's any game that has that, actually, just like a BUUHAN that revives into Kid Buu. That could be something really, really cool, I think. And that's a good way to get representation not only for BUUHAN, but also for a Kid Buu as well. So that, I think, those 3 different versions of Buu would be really cool options as the end of the month LF character. For sure, because I'm looking at the Buu Saga roster here, and I don't know if there's really any just hero characters. Like, are there any Goku or Vegetas or Gotenks that they could do for the slot? I mean, I guess they could do like a transforming Super Saiyan Gotenks into Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, but I feel like we recently just got a Gotenks. They're really going to do another one. It really, I think, is just going to be Buu. If they're going to do a Majin Buu Saga character here, I would imagine. Now, there is one other character that I think could tie into Ultra Super Vegito getting a platinum equipment. I don't really know. Would they really do this for an after party LF? The character I'm thinking of is a Fusion Warrior, and it is Super Gogeta. Would they really dare to do a synchro gauge Super Gogeta at the end of this month? I'm not going to rule it out. Because it technically would tie in with Super Vegeta, right? You get the 2 Super Saiyan fusions from Dragon Ball Z into the game here in some form of relevance. That would be, I mean, if that would be the best possible pick here in terms of excitement for most players. A synchro gauge Super Gogeta after party LF, just boom. Platinum equipment for Ultra Super Vegito. They give us a guaranteed step to pull Super Vegito, and then boom, the week after that, synchro gauge Super Gogeta. I mean, that would be pretty fire. That would be pretty fire. That's like a wild card pick, and the only reason why is just because it would be the best possible pick here, I think, just in terms of people's excitement. But that, to me, feels like Part 1 Legends Fest level. That's probably above the pay grade of an after party celebration. I'm actually, because I've been thinking about this a little bit, what is Legends Fest going to look like here? What I'm leaning towards here, and obviously once we get closer to Legends Fest, I'll probably make videos talking about this, but I am leaning towards Part 1 Legends Fest being Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta and Mini Super Saiyan 4 Daimogoku is what I'm thinking right now. But again, it's probably going to change as we get closer because things will pan out. We'll get different celebrations leading up to it, but man, if they really did do a Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta right now, like the next week to finish out the after party, and then we move into August introducing the supporter function, maybe we get like a GT celebration or a Z movie celebration where they can expand on Super Gogeta. That, you know, thinking about it right now, oh my god, that would be a really good way to transition into a potential movie celebration. Right, and if we go back and just take a look at the character list here, the potential LF Zenkai options, certainly one of the big disappointments of this anniversary were the lack of Zenkais. Actually, hold on, do the reverse of this. We have many different Z movie characters, LF characters that are due for Zenkai Awakenings. Purple Revival Gohan is an anniversary character. He's due for a Zenkai. Red Cooler is due for a Zenkai. So like we have some Z movie candidates here that are due for Zenkais. Beast is technically a movies character, superhero. Orange Piccolo, movies character. Path to Power Kid Goku, movies character. Pikkon and Super Gogeta, movies character. The Gammas are movies. Like there's so many, just in the bottom 3 rows of these LF characters, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies characters. And the reason why I think it's like that is, number one, they just really haven't been giving us tons of LF Zenkais for whatever reason. But another reason why is because we haven't gotten a single movies premium character since Beast Gohan dropped at the end of Legends Fest. It's been a long time without movies characters. I don't know if we've ever seen this long of a drought in between movies characters drop. So I really do think at some point between now and Legends Fest, we have to be getting some kind of movie celebration, whether it's a Dragon Ball Super movie celebration, a Dragon Ball Z movie celebration, maybe just an all-purpose movie celebration. I have really, really high hopes for some kind of movies celebration that buffs the movies team. And then another one that I really think is a contender for what we could see in between now and Legends Fest is GT. GT has not seen anything for super, super long. The Tag 4s are due for a Zenkai, so we'll see. But this could be, if they really want to do, they actually want to pull the trigger on a potential Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta for the After Party LF. Not only would that tie into the Platinum equipment for Super Vegito, but it would be a good bridge and a good segue into potentially a movie celebration in August. And then they could tie that in with the supporter celebration, or the supporters feature function. That could be really cool. That to me is like the ideal pick. This guy's Platinum equipment, Synchro Gauge Super Gogeta end of this month, into a movie celebration next month, into a Zenkai for this Revival Gohan, and then we get like an LF, I don't know, like Bird Goku from the Cooler movie, and then cooler Zenkais. I don't know. Sounds pretty good to me. But you guys can let me know what you think now that we know that we're getting a Platinum equipment for Ultra Super Vegito. What character do you guys want to see drop at the end of this month that would tie into this guy getting a Platinum equipment? And also, just, you know, if you want to think about it a little bit in advance, what kind of celebration do you want to see August be? What do you want to see it represent? Is it going to be movies? Is it going to be GT? Let me know down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one.